And hello. It is a show. It's Friday. And, well, the trifecta of me and the two ladies, we all agree Xirtus is our spirit animal.
Nice to know that like the religion people are most interested in hearing about is my religion. That's cool. I like that.
I guess
Well, we got a box saga
TV.
already, and I didn't bring it over, so here's a new box saga just for you.
Let me know if you can hear this.
That one's the pop saga.
Is a collection of lies. Box saga of parents and children that will die. Box saga, the sounds of shape and form. Box saga, strange is the new norm. Max Azarello, you just one chick, my God. Box saga, raised up like a ship up on a storm. Waves, place, shape and form.
You read the box saga.
Strange is the new scorn.
You are box right now.
I
I get it. I get what you're saying.
I feel it's like a Cheerios commercial, like a cereal commercial.
Box saga.
On Saturday morning, box saga.
It's cheery.
Mate,
no
goats were harmed. I have the other one that was pop saga. There's also the more like for the next time someone asks for a box saga, you can play the other one, and the other one's more like a metal one, but it's a different metal one, which is nice.
I like pop saga.
Here too. Good to see you. Maybe you want to show some of these super chats. They feel like they're able to manipulate our lives directly. So that's some of the power that they
real
wield.
Box saga.
And then Jehovah. What do you want, Britt?
Did they pay for the real box saga?
Is that well? I mean, you know,
what is the real box saga like?
Right.
I have yet to fully get into this. Like,
yeah, I feel like asking
song?
the real box saga. You don't get the real box saga without a goat. You know, it's like a full show.
oh
I
dear.
thought you meant the song, not the actual. I don't even know.
So Box Saga is just the latest rebranding of Luciferian agenda, or what? Like,
I don't know.
sacrifice a goat,
but yeah, there is something about
and you get a wish.
So who's the Romanian like female Nostradamus? Baba Vanga.
Yeah, you're not Baba Yaga.
She was blind. She was a seer.
See, like Baba Vanga is that same kind of vibe, you know, where it's like people are like, oh, Baba Vanga predicted September 11th, said that steel birds would fly into the building, but you can't find a quote from her saying this in 1989. You can't find a quote like that until after 2001. And then, so it seems like a lot of the Baba Vanga Nostradamus moments are people retroactively being like, oh yeah, no, she totally I remember that
did
one time.
Did she go blind, or did she have her eyes like gouged out? Why are they?
She went blind at a certain age.
Dude, no, she was communism. They took her eyes, redistributed them. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, she's just a Bulgarian blind lady, and you know, was like,
oh dear.
Yeah, CJDV did pay for Box Saga.
He says unsubbing.
He's gonna
well, that's what you get. Chris, that's what you get.
Can we have it? It's Friday. I paid for it and got 2 seconds. I paid twice. And I got and then I bought subscriptions, and you paid the subscription song for like 1 second. And I was like, so
well, I guess
I want either box saga or subscription song.
Well, right there, the solution is, Andreas, you just have to upload all of the different box saga songs to your member section.
And I couldn't hear. I want to hear it.
It
would be like the saga of box sagas.
Basically. Are you trying to play
I can't wait
now?
till somebody super chats to hear Pop Saga.
Yeah.
I'm going to super chat.
And then you'll see. Then you'll all see. Then you'll have to hear like a lo-fi hip hop rendition.
Well, dear spirit animal, please tell us more about your xChurch, because I am intrigued.
I mean, well, so basically it's your xChurch. It's all of our xChurch is the idea. So I've been thinking a lot about churches, if you haven't noticed. I've been talking to all these church people, and I have this kind of thought that basically everything that's ever come before or ever will come after is only useful if it's all tied together. So we're going to integration, right? That's the first step. And you got to think of it like this. Everything you do is already part of xChurch as far as I'm concerned. So it's not so much about like, believing in things. Like that's not like, we're not like, hey, you have to believe in a fish that like talks, or you have to do. It's more about the choices you're making are making consequences that are affecting the future. I strongly believe that. And I feel like we need to focus on what choices we're making, because I think that might actually impact the future. I believe that, right? And I think if you believe that your choices might impact the future, xChurch might be right for you, because we could all impact the future together collectively in a more discerned way.
Future, like the one, like our future, or you're saying like you want the collective future?
Well, so this is like the interesting thing about future. Like there's this thing that people talk about, which is called the horizon point. So it's like a point where, let's say you steal cookies. You steal cookies from the cookie jar. Like what's going to happen at that point. You're going to get in trouble for it, right? Whereas maybe like right before that, you're staring at the cookie jar. There's a horizon point. Like all kinds of things could happen. Like you could get the cookie, you could go away from the cookie. Like, you could smash the cookie jar. Like all kinds of different things could happen before that happens. We're in a horizon point. Many different futures are available to us. So being discernment, I like it. But if we're able to decide collectively through talking about what kind of future we want, rather than just letting one happen, then we'll be in a circumstance where we have control over mutation, which is, we often don't.
Well, the way the system is designed is to trick us into giving up our free will and essentially our own control, and telling us, oh, it's just the placebo effect. You have no actual conscious creation or impact onto your own reality, your physicality, and your life and future. But it's like, no, you are your own god, like in your time space, right? We are all co-creators, co-builders, coexisters. And
yeah, I totally, and this is a thing that's interesting. Like one of the reasons why I have been talking to all the Mormonist people, because like their whole idea about becoming a god or whatever isn't that you become, it is that you are already part of the source. And so that jives with the Veda, that jives with this whole idea of energy is conforming itself to matter. And so we're playing the part of ourselves, but it's for a purpose of something greater. We could figure out what that's for though, right? And like that's the other thing. I don't like I love to talk about those things. I think we love to talk about those things. But what we're building here is not about our esoteric philosophies. It's way more about cleaning up house. This is, it's like Project Mayhem. Like the idea is more that actions have to be taken. We should be trying to alleviate, like I already thought about it a lot. I think alleviating suffering is important, whether we're living in a simulation or in, an atheist chaos sandstorm, or in a created space turtle flat earth. Like it doesn't really matter.
I gotta interject on this, and that essentially in understanding the multiverse, all of those different realities exist simultaneously within the overall full structure, right? So it's like a god or creation or whatever, the conscious energy that is that we exist as a part of under whatever the greater universe is that we are all the universe is the you in the universe, and the multiverse is all the multiple different consciousnesses existing within it, and that we all have our impact into it. And
you can imagine it like, let's say you've got a room, and your room was empty at one point, and then you filled your room with stuff, right? So like in the beginning, there was nothing in that room, but now all of a sudden the room is filled. But you organize that room different ways over the time that you have that stuff. Sometimes some of the stuff changes, but you pretty much, even if you get a new bed, like there's kind of an order, there's a divine order to what a room is, right? And that emerges, and then you have where things go. And sometimes things are in place, but when things are out of place. It actually becomes super apparent that things are in a chaotic disorder. And so when things are in order, all of a sudden that is, time. And you can associate all the moments, like it depends, like if your room is constantly trashed or if your room is constantly organized, those moments build up and those connect with each other like knots in a silk handkerchief, and those are space-time associations. So we think of them because of causation as synchronistic or chronological, or the point more is that you could rearrange your room to be clean and it would be the same room as it was when it was clean before. Like the same moment reemerges, because that moment has to do with the symmetry and arrangement of how everything is in that place. So you could put things back, right? I think that's like a major thing we think about.
You're not the same.
What?
But you wouldn't be the same.
Okay, so that's always a great question, right? Like, so let's say your kid makes like a Lego statue. He assembles the whole Lego statue up, and then like you kick it over in the night and you put it back exactly the way it was for him. So when he comes back in the morning, yeah, it's not exactly the same thing, but it is in a lot of ways. It's the same Legos, and he built it, and like he's not aware of the changes that have happened.
I meant like, let's say I did the Legos, it got knocked down, then 10 years later, I come back and build the exact same Legos. I am 10 years different than I was when the Lego incident happened. So I'm just wondering.
Right, but aren't they the same? Are you talking about like you've picked up the old Legos and put them back together? They're the original Legos?
Yeah, they just laid there for like 10 years.
Well, yeah, and then you're tied to that moment. So that's the thing. Like the fact, like you are not
I go back in time to
as you're breathing as you are a second ago. But you are, because there's some sort of association being made between those moments, right? So consciousness, whatever that is that you're calling like a fifth dimensional awareness that's spread across moments, that choice-making mechanism, that conscious awareness is.
Yeah,
cut out. Is like
right, and that's the 5D.
I didn't hear it either.
No, just it is like there is a constant continuation. Like you aren't the same. Agreed. Like you have different emotions. You're different when you're a child and when you're like
my body. It would be 10 years older. Yeah.
Or like as a grown up in the meantime. But like the idea is that that continuation is aware of those moments together, right? That is a continuity. So that is, is regardless of the fact.
So what type of actions and how is it used, like the AI part? I don't understand.
And wouldn't that be a duality then? If you're I'm confused. Sorry.
I don't know how to answer Brittany's question
go
first.
Go with Julia first.
Okay, so like with Julia, like with artificial intelligence, basically, like, so we've talked to people like Winslow on my channel, people that do like DARPA research or DARPA projects on artificial intelligence for prediction software, and how the military is using prediction software to understand what will happen in the weather or what will happen in socioeconomic and civilization day to day, in order to predict 7 days or a week to 10 days ahead of time everything that's going to happen, like whether a volcano will erupt, whether there'll be a natural disaster, whether someone will, even to be able to predict who will win the presidency, who will be assassinated, like super high resolution predictions of what are the most likely probable events to happen in the next 7 days, right? And so with that, we can choose like which ones do we really want to happen and not want to happen, because we can that could be published in the newspaper. It'd be like, there's an 80% probability that there's going to be a false flag terrorist attack, or that there's going to be an actual terrorist attack, or that there's going to be a fake virus or a real virus, etc. Like we could have all of that just be probability driven, posted, so everyone in the world could know exactly what is likely to happen this week. And from that, we would either have the option to freak out and magnify the chances of those things happening, right? We're already doing that with the stock market, where people are playing into it. Or we could use AI to try to figure out, like, what do we really want to happen? Like, how do we prepare for things like natural disasters so that everyone's safe? Or how do we make sure that
solving
we
the
predict
mysteries
that in 7
of
years when this
fusion
a pestilence will hit? Like maybe there's going to be cicadas all over this area in 7 years. Can we have food ready for it? How much more do we need AI for that? I mean, realistically, in ancient Egypt, they were doing this. But it seems like it would be practical, because we could use AI to make that more transparent to people. And in the process, I think it would be useful because we could participate in saying what we want to happen, how we want the future to go.
That's interesting because they say the timeline, the war on timelines is like if you want to really battle of like how you want to direct everyone in the future, it'd be just accessing people's subconscious and directing that. So I like how this is like action oriented of like and having to do with your mind and your energy and the direction it's going.
Yeah, and to comment on that, I think also the awareness factor is key because the fact that people are doing this all the time, there are plenty of people that have for many generations planned the future, right? Like there are collectives, fraternities, families, corporations, states that have engineered goals, right?
Yes,
For how they
and
want to,
you're doing and we're participate. We've all been participating
but
on it for
mostly
several generations.
subconsciously, because most subconscious propaganda is effective if you don't know what's happening. But with this sort of a system, I hate to say it like that, the idea is that you're supposed to be aware of what's happening, so that makes it much more difficult. It's like when let's say you make pop music, right? I make some pop music now. If I go into a store and I hear pop music that's designed to make you want to buy something, like I'm aware of that on a different level. And so I'm not trying to buy anything. I'm actually thinking about how that music works on that level. It'd be like if I went to see a horror film and I went to film school, and I'm like no longer afraid of it. I'm not like, wow, look at how they use fountains to project that corn syrup and how interesting it is. So this is a breaking of the mind control on a lot of levels. But it also is not breaking of the mind control because you're still in control. In fact, now you're in control of your mind, but you're able to use it that way.
And directing it collectively, like where you have a lot of people doing that.
Yeah, that's the only way. I mean, realistically, because if everyone's pulling it in different directions, which has been the plan, right? Like they get people to be like, it's this person or that person or whatever. And so it's like you have 4 people in a household that believe in the same thing with different flavors. 2 parents voting against each other um, to displace each other in the system, right? So
Divide and conquer.
we need to really work on that. Like if you're like, okay,
Build and
let's
team,
figure out what we
community,
can agree
family.
on and focus on making those changes now, and we can always learn to listen to each other along the way on the things that we don't agree on yet until we figure out what to do about that. And that's another thing I think AI will help with, because a lot of the time people are arguing about what to do. Like let's say, people are arguing over like pulling straws, which person to eat. By that point, something went wrong. No, like we should probably go back further to figure out why they're pulling straws to figure out which person to eat. Like we're not using AI to figure out which person to eat. We're using AI to figure out why that happened and like how to stop them from starving in the first place, so we don't get into that circumstance. And there's gonna be a lot of problems that we have that are like that, where we're saying, what do we do about kids going to see these movies on Vicodin and whatever the heck is happening?
This reminds me of something I brought up at the panel at the conference this last week. I was like, look, we can come here and we could talk about the other forces, evil forces in government and systems and banking that are in place, and the dark side and the malevolent side of of what they're doing. And we could spend all this time focusing on that. But like, you got to give it up to them. They're organized. They have a goal. They're structured. So until the other side, until we get organized, and we're not going to ever be able to combat it. So things that of like solutions and things of action. So this really speaks to me because it's this type of stuff of directing that. And like you said, cleaning up your side of the street. That's going to be so imperative.
Yeah. And I'm really interested in again, I think there's a place for all of it. Like there's a place for us to talk about esoteric things on one hand, because that's always going to be like every religion that I've looked into, they have like the Hindus have Brahmins who that's their thing. They sing their language and sing the praises all day, to the point that there's a caste system where people are literally not that. There are other people that are just fighting all the time. There's Rajestic warriors in India for the purpose of making sure that other people can. So, like every religion has different things going on. There are going to be people that don't care about it from, when we say religion, it's like, it's kind of a funny thing, because it's like this is one of those things where you don't have to believe in this. I've been really adamant about this. Like there's atheists that can believe that they can make a difference, and that's enough, right? If your choice is, and we have people like Seth Garrett, right, and people that are atheists that believe in essentially the same thing as far as I'm concerned. They might not understand how similar it really is because of the nuances of thinking of God as a single parent who writes books. This idea that like we are, that God is in the image of us rather than we're in the image of this like metacosm kind of thing. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Hey, now
Dub Selector, you got some beats, don't you?
Welcome,
I have
Travis.
a question too
Hello,
about
hello.
xChurch. Will there be obviously
Sorry, I'm late.
you make music, so will there be song and dance?
Yeah, of course. I mean, not only that, but everything that like you've heard about mind control and like the Burning Man thing, like in terms of binaural beats and all that, will be reverse engineered and
Julia can do
source,
dance lessons.
right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
the open sourcing of binaural beats, which is already like, this is not new. This is not something I'm introducing. Like we already have binaural beats, which is the open source binaural entrainment systems. But the idea is just to make everyone fully aware of everything. So it's not,
Yes. Okay. Sadly, you couldn't make the last Science of Sound episode. The next one that we're doing, let's plan it to cover specifically binaural beats and the science of that, please.
Yeah, I mean, but like in 10 seconds, if you're imagining that you're like, if you ever get sick and you're feeling kind of like you can't keep your balance, it's because you're using sound to keep your balance. If you play one sound wave in one ear and one sound wave in another ear, you could either completely lose your balance or use that to alleviate vertigo. There's all sorts of amazing things people have found that it can lift your theta wave state or put you like help you sleep. It's really useful for controlling your brainwave patterns.
Like deep
What is
sleep
it
and
again?
stuff? Like different
Binaural
sleep cycles?
entrainment, playing one frequency in one ear and one frequency in another ear. It was something noticed a lot by the military, and then the Grateful Dead would do these huge concerts, and they'd have speaker systems that would just be in arrays going back for an acre, and then people would hear the sound in one system and hear the sound in another system, also similar to the Fantasia or Fantasound that Disney invented, where you have the stereo. It's a kind of stereo system. And so everyone today has the capacity to do this, particularly if you have headphones, because noise canceling headphones will make sure you only hear one sound, the other sound.
They do use it a lot, and that it went into classified technology basically once the military got interested into it and they started developing it. But like artists like Marilyn Manson stopped producing like albums and instead just focused on applying binaural the application of it to music or to movies, and that's why he's in all the soundtracks of movies.
Yeah, there's some Brian Warner does some really interesting stuff. If you get Binaural, which is this app right here, it's completely open source, and you can use it to try different patterns, right? Different tonage patterns, right? And again, one of the reasons to do this is that you'll notice you're like, oh, weird. I was watching a commercial or something. I don't know if you guys ever have done that in the last 20 years, but if you've seen a commercial and all of a sudden you feel kind of funny and you're like, wow, they just R-worded my mind. Yeah, because that's what they do in commercials, right? So the thing is, you can turn that off because then all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow. They just did that thing. And now you have a new association. It doesn't make you want to go out and buy stuff. It makes you want to like go out and use the software to figure out how to like change your brain like the way you want it to be or something like that. And again, 432 hertz, solfeggio frequencies, you can do that with this software. So do that instead of these weird
exactly yes that's the whole goal, right? Of the Science of the
Conspiracy. Alex has a whole album on that 432, I think, or whatever it is.
Yeah, there's people making music.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be 432. There's like 519. There's amazing
these-
solfeggio frequencies that have all different purposes. The point is, they're not using those. You know, when you listen to an MP3 or a lot of these files on YouTube, the compression specifically could be and is not in a healthy frequency, right? And it is, you know, people will lament, oh well, why do you care? It's like, well, it makes people happier. Do it.
It can harmonize your cells in your body. So like there's certain tunes and frequencies that can like cause disharmony within you.
Yeah, but even telling like even beyond that, like I'm saying, like, so let's say someone doesn't believe that, and like they're trying really hard to argue against that, and they're like, well, why can't I just like, well, look, you got this many people saying it makes them feel better, so, and you're marketing a product, so like, who cares what you think, like whether or not you believe in this stuff or not. You've got all these people that are saying that they're not enjoying this frequency, it makes them have headaches, and other people saying that this other frequency makes them feel better. And you're trying to get people to watch your and listen to your content for as long as possible because you're streaming stuff. It should be just it should just be marketing that they recognize to do this.
Yeah. You know, you're bringing up frequency. This explains, well, potentially the resonance chambers in those pyramids, which I'm looking right now for a video on that. Now that you brought,
I was gonna say, I don't think that there's like a best frequency. In terms of binaural frequencies, the idea is you have two different frequencies at a time. Literally, and you're playing different frequencies based on where your brain's at, because the idea is that you're going to augment where you're at. So you're weaning your brain from, you know, like let's say you're in vertigo and you feel like all thrown off and dizzy and stuff like that. You can listen to certain frequencies which will make you feel level, right?
Or if you're sick,
right?
Maybe it could go that far to heal you.
Sorry, my bad.
Boom.
I liked it. No, that was a cool flash. That was like red pill.
All right. Well, yeah, sorry, I've walked in on this, but hello, Bernie, Andreas, Brittany, Julia. Good to see you all.
Hi, Travis. You know, it's a fun fact. Besides the fact that Dub Selector works on 14 quantum computers and that he does Uncharted X's video editing, he also like has like a big background with Tom Petty. And so we're talking about sound. So to bring that up, you have
just put you on the spot as you get here. Do you want to tell that story? It sounds epic.
That's a long. It's just.
Didn't you live where he recorded like that? What is it called?
Kinda
the studio.
Like my life story. Yeah, the clubhouse is his famous last recording studio. It was a garage that essentially we turned into this really nice place to play music in, and it sounded amazing because of the way it was set up. So they converted an office into a sound, like a control room, and it was turned into a live recording studio. They could play as a band and just record that, you know, instead of playing in individual, sections where like, okay, now the guitar, okay, now let's record the drums. Like they hated doing that stuff. That's not the way they like to record. So they just do better when they're playing actual music together. That's just the magic of it. But this is back then. So
with so many artists,
old times, huh?
It's awesome.
Oh, I get what you're describing though. Just like with most artists and groups and stuff, it's like it's got to be in the moment, sort of thing.
Yeah. Oh, they were just on it. Like they could meet up after not seeing each other for 2 years and play the best music you've ever heard, just like in one day.
I love
that's just how they were as a band together.
I love that Tom Petty was in The Postman. Like that was a great cameo.
Right. Yeah.
The world's like apocalyptic ending, and he like
I remember
in this like apocalyptic.
That was a good movie.
And it's freaking Tom Petty. He's like, yeah.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
It was like that's a pretty random based cameo. That like kind of
it was
cachet in my book forever.
Yeah, he was just
Sorry.
He's a great guy. He was a great guy. No, go ahead.
I was
And
just
you-
gonna say I got to see Tom Petty once at the the original Pemberton Fest, and it was like the most epic. Like,
What year was that? Do you
um,
remember?
I will have to look it up, but
It was in up there.
it was in Pemberton, British Columbia, which is
BC?
right next to Whistler, BC. It was like basically Whistler. This like
Yeah, I could.
Bernie's Canadian. Have you met Bernie before? Is this like the first
yeah.
meetings of
No,
ever?
no, we met.
Okay.
I met
You do music
Travis
too,
a couple
right?
times. Epic individual.
Ah, thank you. No, Bernie is likewise.
Okay.
Yeah,
And you guys are both cancers. They're both cancers.
is that right?
Mhm.
Nice. July 17th, myself.
Oh, 18th. All right.
That's epic.
There you go.
Nelson.
So
Very
you
nice.
work on quantum computers. So do you?
I specifically,
or
I help in the development of the quantum processor that they put in the computers. I get to work around them. They're beautiful machines. I would love to work on them specifically. I work on other machines that are necessary for that production, though. It's very, it's all
awesome.
one thing.
So wait, are you in Canada or where are you?
I'm down in
Santa Barbara.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so like, I mean,
Google's got a
are you
presence
able
there.
to talk about the like processors? Are they like?
Yeah, please go in as much as you can. Like, this is fascinating work. Like, that's epic.
Gosh, that's such a gray area. I would have to reread all that stuff. You do have to when you get higher there.
After the show, you and Andreas can talk
instead.
For
all
hours
of
and
us,
hours and hours and hours.
Well, I could say it's very similar to any other semiconductor processing in the development of the quantum processor. So it's just very, very, very sensitive. So out of 100, wafers, you might get one good chip.
Wow.
That kind of thing. Yeah, it's not a high production. Let's make 1,000 of them a day type thing. It's just more of a research. It's a research and development project. So it's slow and like, let's make sure everything's perfect kind of.
But you're able to use like, you're able to retrofit traditional fab processes basically.
Yes.
That's really cool. So it's okay.
And on the development of the chip itself, it's the same. We're using silicone wafers. So
can you talk about if it is? I mean, I don't know. Like, so what I would think then would be like photonics would be like a good way to go if you're using like traditional fab processes. Are we getting warm?
It's everything. Photolithography, is that what you're?
Oh no, just not for fabrication. I just mean in terms of like, are your qubits photonic qubits, or are you using trapped ion qubits, or like what are you trying to do for your qubit processes?
That's not part of my my business, but I would love to learn that stuff. Of course, I listen to those meetings. That stuff.
If you're doing traditional fab, because that's like a really smart thing to do. And so IBM a few years ago figured out how to use traditional fab to do photonic qubit, but it was not, super efficient yet.
I think that's what we're doing.
That would be like a really, so there's like neutral atom.
I think they use different terminology though for it.
There's trapped ion, and a lot of those are gas based. So like, it's probably not that if you're using traditional fab to build, but it could be still, because if you're using a 3D lithographic process, you could also have trapped gas, because nanopores. So, I mean, it's not like it doesn't like rule out anything, but it's interesting because right now there's just so many different ways that they're trying to do qubit processes, and photonics I've always said would be the best because it's like a freaking rainbow and you have a spectrum of data. So all of a sudden you're able to deal with like an octagon or there's a potential for a more analog signal or a higher resolution of signal in that case, which would be useful. And
oh yes,
qubit processing. But I mean, it's
Yeah,
early.
we got some tricks that I can't talk about for sure in that regard. But
Well, what
and
maybe you
even
could
in
talk
the
about
even
like
in
what
the connectors themselves. So we have a whole line for that. The whole machine is developed in house. So yes, the fridges entirely from scratch are made in house.
maybe you want to talk about like where you think quantum computation is going in the next 5 years.
That's a good question. I don't think it's gonna be anything as crazy as a lot of people are talking about. I mean, do you use any of the AI stuff yourself or anything?
Yeah, I like to dabble.
Okay.
Understatement of the
He
night.
does it for art, music,
Art.
video.
Okay.
He's able to. Yeah,
Well,
he
those
creates
are
some
all I would
crazy
call those all
stuff.
dabbling compared to
Well,
like
cool.
If I also have
It's
like an Olama
ridiculous.
system running a Mixtral,
Play
and I do
Box
some
Saga and show him
stuff.
the Box Saga song that was created with AI. It's a metal song. It's great.
Yeah, I do make a lot of
Okay.
art with AI.
But
Well,
what are your thoughts?
I don't have. We don't know. I'm very much focused on mechanical, electrical engineering of my equipment, and that's is as long as that is running very well, all the rest of everything else is too. So
Can your stuff be used then for AI, like on a large scale? Is that like, yeah, you're like the
we would do. It would be cloud based because
Ooh.
the cryostats are in house. They're with us. So you would have to connect to them via,
So
remotely.
who's in charge of the cloud?
They have their
Well,
own.
That's where the AI is going to be run from. Who's in charge? Is that like the heaven?
Now that's a whole
Oh,
different
dear.
department. Actually, it's a whole different department, and yeah,
Really?
it is.
I
Those
get that.
servers
Obviously, you
aren't.
do that, but
I'm not sure how the cloud will work for that. Like we do the computational part of it, I guess. So the storage part, that's a different area, different city, entirely a different group of people.
Yeah.
It's a big company, but the quantum, let's say 7 years ago, it was only like 25 people, and now it's like maybe a couple hundred, or I think 1,000 like worldwide. But here it's very small. But it's growing.
do you like what you do? Is it like an enjoyable job? Or is it like stressful? Or is it like
it's very it's good for this industry. It's probably as good as you can get for that in terms of engineering in the semiconductor industry, because that's where I was before, and I moved to this because I knew people working in it. My boss, I worked for him before at my last company, so he's head of equipment engineering for the quantum department. And equipment, we have what is it? Maybe 10,000 square foot fab, and we are obtaining a lot of equipment. And this next 2 years, we're filling it up, and it's all brand new, shiny new, great, amazing stuff.
And at least you guys got a new buffet.
Yeah, I showed Julia our kitchen.
Nice.
I sent you a picture because I take advantage of that breakfast.
But the computer's pretty.
Because you keep your engineers around, yeah.
What's that?
You have to have a good kitchen to keep your engineers around, keep them on site.
Yeah, and an espresso machine is
Yeah.
essential. Very much. I use it every day. Definitely.
Right, you got to have the espresso machine. I'm actually so stoked at my new print shop where I'm setting up. I'm partnered with a Joe Schmo's Coffee, so of course there's a big espresso machine front and center as soon as you walk in, right?
And you save your money, right? You don't have to buy coffee anymore. It's perfect,
right?
I haven't bought coffee since. I mean, maybe if I go somewhere I'm not, normally at, but at home I never buy coffee. unless
My coffee machine just broke the other day, and it was like the third one that I had got. It was like a Keurig, and it was like the third one. Like I got one, and it broke. They broke with it. They broke within a week, and then the other one
those
did as
break.
well.
They do that.
That's horrible.
You
Wish
gotta
I
get
knew an
the-
engineer.
You gotta get the tried and true mechanical machine. You know, you turn the knob and it's on. You know, that's yeah. Those last a long time.
What about
Yeah.
quantum supremacy, though? Do you think that we're, I mean, you were saying you don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. What do you mean by that?
I guess specifically in that where people are afraid of it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just like anything else.
Well, you're
it's
an
gonna
engineer,
be.
so like you get it on a whole different level. The people that maybe are afraid of it don't understand.
I see who's making it. You know, and these are not people to be afraid of.
Yeah, but I think like Geordie Rose, I mean, I think it's because of his position in creating the quantum computers that came out and said literally like we're like tapping into that field and they're Lovecraftian beings that is being contacted through the quantum computer.
That's exactly what Blake Lemoine was essentially saying too.
Yeah, so and I could only speak.
He gets upset when I bring this stuff up. He's like,
Me?
"No, Julia, yeah."
No, not at all. But I could only speak for us. Other companies working in quantum,
like your systems are doing now.
Oh yeah, damn. Off the top of my head, no. I'll look. I don't even want to give you a number without looking. But
Okay.
it's a good amount. And it's growing. It's tripled, quadrupled in this next model. The chips are
since when?
The chips are about that big now for one.
When was the last iteration? Like how long have you quadrupled? Are you like
show the size of the chip again, please, Travis?
Okay.
The eye of about the eye of a scarab.
It's about that big. Yeah.
Okay, it's
like
quantum now.
Yeah, it's like more than a half-inch square each side. It's big, 3/4 inch.
I mean, it's interesting because a lot of people just think that. I mean, on one hand, a lot of people think that quantum computers are just like 100 years away, and on the other hand, superconducting qubit
get started
is yeah, but it exists, and you guys have the fab process, and you're just getting started, but you clearly are tripling the resolution already. So, like, there's something
maybe
of a quantum computer, by the way. Is there a basic definition of quantum computing?
What's the question, Brittany? What's the definition of quantum computers?
Definition of quantum computing, like at the foundation.
That's a good question.
I mean, well, I guess if you were to define it like by digital versus analog versus quantum, like you could say like so.
It's like digital, the next step beyond.
Digital is you ain't, binary, and then like analog is like how much of this are you? Like how close of it is it to the end of the day? Kind of analog. Kind of like range, and then quantum computers, quantum is like you're both, and then like what is the value for this and what is the value for that?
It has both at the same time.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah,
all together at once.
And the causation.
I've been doing the whole time. Duh.
Right? Shout out.
Mix them together.
Blake.
Sorry. That's awesome. But thank you. Now I understand it.
I don't know, and that was probably a poor definition from like
I just wanted to have like better definition.
Do you have? What would you say?
Start studying it.
No, that was
what's up?
That's good.
So I just want to point out all of the backgrounds here that I'm randomly switching through are like AI art generated, and it's like I love the applications of AI and AI art, especially. Yeah, just right, like ADHD going on randomly selected, but it's fun, and that one of the things I'm going to be doing at my new silk screening shop / podcast studio, second one I'm setting up, is going to be doing like AI art streams as well as like AI music streams, and then some graphic design ones as well. So it's like be doing essentially courses or like, I don't know, it'll be fun, just like applying it. But the aspects of the AI into it. And what do you see with a AI merging with quantum? Like, is that when
Honestly,
it connects to,
I
like,
don't. I can't.
Isn't that the feed?
Because I don't even use it much myself.
So like,
There's a
all
show
right,
about
imagine
where
that
it
you could
takes
think
over.
thoughts that were either this is this way or this is that way. I mean, okay, imagine you're in a maze, okay? And you can run all of the different ways in a maze at the same time. That's what a quantum brain would do for a very intelligent system. It would make it
Sure.
possible for you to think multiple thoughts simultaneously.
And
Be able to
where do you
be
end
able to
up then?
conclude rationale for different logic strings simultaneously. You'd be able to stand somewhere and think about what could happen if I went 4 different directions and
But
choose which one you
infinite
wanted.
different directions. It's got that capacity.
I just like cardinal direct. It could have been anything you wanted.
Yeah, like one system is essentially faster than an entire building of supercomputers. So they can't compare.
So if you think about Amdahl's law,
Hmm.
there is an order of operations. Let me pull up Amdahl's law. There's an order of operations that have to be done in a real-time operation. So let's say I'm doing like, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally or something like that, right?
Oh, yes, that
So
one.
like, if you guys remember, you have to do parentheses, whatever. You know the thing. The deal with the array of Amdahl's law is you can calculate a number of things simultaneously. Let's say I have 64 cores in my computer. You've heard people have a bunch of cores in their computer. You could do 64 tasks at once. That's a simple way of explaining it. But let's say the task that you want to do requires work to be done beforehand. Like, in order for task 64 to, combine the videos you edited in task 12 and task 24, you need to have already done those tasks. So one of the tasks has to be to organize which tasks you're going to do. Like, first we're going to add things together. Then we're going, the things in the parentheses. Then we're going to multiply it. All these things that you're going to have to do. There's an order of operations that have to be fulfilled. And this is really important for a number of reasons. But you could do this pretty much in real time in a quantum computer, because you'd be able to use superposition to, and also with other algorithms, like Fourier transform, figure out a range of possibilities and probabilities that are likely to occur. But that would, right now, like, you have to imagine, we use this, even the thought that lifetimes, like, you can have all of these lifetimes. We have billions of people living at once, but all of their lives are taking a lifetime. Like, it's going to take at least a lifetime to process all of that data, right?
Yeah. Sorry, yes. And that comment that just flashed by is pretty relevant in terms of the RAM, because like RAM speed, the limitations there is essentially the timing on that, like how fast that information can come from there to the processor and back, and it can recompute itself, and that process in a quantum computer is 100-fold faster. And that's essentially what's going on. So you're going to have where, we've been doing shrinking down the microprocessor for X amount of years now, to where it is at a point where we're now stacking layers and different things, Intel and AMD, doing different 3D chips. They're separating cores now, performance cores, eco cores, and these are your normal processors in your normal style computer. So a quantum processor, I'm going to use the pun, it's a quantum leap from that technology. So it's just, if potentially one day that could be in your home, because it will originally it will start out like what I'm explaining to you on the cloud, but maybe perhaps, in the future, like you're saying, what is it from 100 years? I guess my guess would be it's something that you would potentially have in your home yourself. Just like you have your computer
And then
today.
can you hack a quantum computer? And what's that like? Is it everything gets hacked on
No, I mean that network was as secure as the Google network itself. So
when you do a
have
quantum
fun.
computer, there's like no. Oh, it's not. It's a
A
secure.
better way to look at it is like a quantum computer would be very useful for hacking your computer. If I wanted
you
to,
can't hack a quantum computer, like a
if I
foreign
wanted to
company.
process or decrypt, data on a normal.
Like
If
Russia.
I used my computer to try to break a bunch of passwords, it would take a lot longer, like years longer.
Yeah.
Than
if you want to use it
would take on a quantum computer to know every possible.
So are they using that for then to decode like or different?
Well, I contacted Sub Selector like 6 months ago, like urgently. I was like, listen up. I was like, hey, I need you to do
DARPA
something
and
for me.
NSA have they're doing that. It has nothing to do with, regardless of.
We aren't, but
like
who
AI
knows what China's doing?
Your quantum computers, could your quantum computers take that data and do it faster and then figure out?
Yes,
on a scale, like millions of times faster.
Just like anything else, if you have a person going to be using it for malicious intent, you're going to have a defense system for it too. So you'll have to equally be as powerful as the enemy in that regard. Just they say we aren't going to be doing that, but I don't know who China's doing with their quantum computers, and they're making their own version.
Is that what
and
we're
it doesn't look like
doing?
ours.
Well, and so you have to imagine also, if you've got let's say China has a quantum computer and they're trying to break into computers. If ours is behind a quantum computer, it's more difficult for China to break through and one quantum computer to break into another quantum computer. So it's like these are levels of security that are going to be necessary, but it's going to become more and more difficult to have security in general because of this. We're going to see more and more transparency as the alternative because it's just not going to be worth the effort to try to.
I can't speak on that.
The truth community goes, when
not
you have
sure.
a quantum computer and you can scan all of these things throughout all of time, do you not think
you
you'll
don't
be able to get better answers?
You don't agree. You don't agree. Like looking at like DEF CON that like security is going to be more selective in the future based on like priority.
I don't disagree, but yeah.
I mean, do you
would have to be used
security evolving as quickly as technology?
It eventually will have to. It'll be
it depends on who has this in their hands. Like if you're able to utilize these systems yourself and for that method.
And you'd have answers and truth about the planet and things like that. If you have a quantum computer, when you're taking analog and digital and combining it,
it's going to be a few years before you see universities, Brittany. I'm talking about the NSA. I don't think.
The NSA.
Quantum computers can do that. No,
they can. I'm just saying you're not going to be universities with the computer for.
I'm talking about in my home. Like I want one, and I want to figure out everything.
Yeah, not for a while.
I could have an answer for you now because there is a reason it's called the quantum supremacy race. I mean, the government will support the top competitor, and that it is a competition. I mean,
what about the
with
truth
these companies,
so let him
they're going to utilize their computers for that. Yes.
Why is it so important to win the quantum supremacy race?
For that reason, what you're saying, defense for sure, and to be it's to be before your biggest competitor.
It might not matter who has the second. It might not matter who has the second supercomputer. If whoever gets there
someone's
first,
going to have
to build the security system that can't be like. You might be
able
to
China to have a
security system that can't be broken or not. Like, and we're going to find that out probably at the first super. At probably about like 2 million qubits, maybe 1.6 million qubits. We'll understand.
And you mean the government will get it first, or the military, or are you saying?
I mean, an agency.
Same thing.
The military probably already has their own version.
Isn't it weird that DARPA started as an educational department because it could have been called DERPA, and that would have been hilarious.
The military's using Windows XP still. Trust me.
Right? DARPA is DERPA. There.
It should have been DARPA.
Using Windows XP.
Yeah, they're very like.
Don't underestimate
special forces. I think special forces get special.
Yeah, if you're up there in those
If you're in the
Windows,
cloud,
Yeah,
Windows,
sure.
military
They'll
Windows
give
is
you
a
a new
different beast
computer,
though.
yeah.
Also, like because it's so hacked and like it, I don't know. I wouldn't say that running Google Fuchsia is like that much more impressive than what you can do with like a super XP terminal system with NT with like the proper
Oh yeah,
.NET
oh,
stocks. It's
don't
like,
get me
I mean,
wrong.
it's kind of funny to
Absolutely. They'll
pretend
run
that
your
Windows
system.
XP isn't like a super amazing thing. Actually,
It is amazing. 'Cause
They've
so
only added more backdoors and spyware and like malicious bots into the designs of like the more
You just don't
recent
want to be
products,
connected to
right?
the internet.
I
They will run your
disagree
system.
wholeheartedly, Stefan, David. I think that with like, it's one of the reasons why Dub Selector is here. Is like he's like, yeah, I don't know. I
He's
mean, I'm just
working on
building
it.
these things.
It's real.
Like,
Sorry.
yeah, it's about as practical as you can get.
But
right
I
here.
think the thing is, Ken Wheeler describes quantum physics as something different. We're talking about quantum computers, which you just explained is like this
Nothing
combo
happens.
of digital
So
and
quantum,
analog.
all right. On one level,
Yeah.
quantum's kind of a
Anyway.
buzzword, but on another level, here's how it goes. And tell me if I'm wrong because I don't know everything. I'm just talking about this from my like limited understanding. If you think about the Moore's law, we get to a point where computers get so small. Like right now, we're in like a 3 nanometer process where things are so small that these labyrinths of mazes of electron going around the solid state physics are actually getting right next to each other. And when they're going right next to each other on a highway, it's likely that they're going to crash. It's possible that they'll be pulled into each other by by density. If there's any amount of collected matter, there's all kinds of ways electrostatic could cause these electrons when they're that close to each other to run into each other, which will then cause corruption of data, right? Because then all of a sudden your process is off. And however,
entangled,
this is exactly what we're going for. Because if we can get down to that level where everything is touching, then we can have superposition. And superposition is going to allow, especially at a super cold state, in order to imagine.
We call it the junction.
Yeah, if this is 1 and 0
like
at the same time.
That portion. That's all I could tell you. But
it's about putting the 1 into the 0 and
the
making
most sensitive
an X
part
out
of the whole thing.
Okay, I got it. That's why it's year of the X. It's the year that the 1 goes into the 0 and we get an X out of it, right?
Yeah,
sure.
That is the singularity.
I don't think this stuff is that like. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is. People know about that, right? But they're not allowed to talk about.
I don't know. I don't know, honestly.
I don't know anymore.
But other people know.
Yeah.
And then I don't,
Yeah.
I don't want to get a call either. Like, hey, we heard your fucking podcast. You gotta
That's
go.
fair. Yeah.
Sorry.
You need to get your AI to have a disclaimer.
Julia's way more famous than you thought.
We could talk more about artificial intelligence, though, because the idea of quantum entanglement and data glitches and superposition, like that plays into why AI is useful and computer science to look at this data and how we're supposed to interpret this data, because before it was just looked at as an error. I think that's an interesting thing, that this was looked at as a really dangerous point that we didn't want to hit because we didn't know what would happen, and now it's like we got to get there as soon as possible.
So it's all about error correction.
Yeah,
to go along with what you're saying. So how quick can you correct it? And if you could get down to what is the magic number we're trying to hit? Like 0.2 nanoseconds, something like that. I'll look up that as well. But yeah, there's a magic number. We're not there yet. We've seen other companies lie about their numbers.
Of course.
How long is a nanosecond? Can you hear it? Or is it too short to hear?
What does that even mean?
Can you hear it?
Like, is it like if you were to play a nanosecond, is it like how short is it? How quick? You say nanosecond, I'm just trying to process.
1,000 or
fast.
So milli, is 1,000. So nanos.
Yeah. I don't know 1,000. I don't know if you can hear. You probably hear a flicker.
Part of quantum though is that it's nano material. It's all nano scale.
Yeah, we are down to the nanoscale in our process. Yeah.
That's the buzzword there.
Nanoscale measurers.
Because the quantum is necessary for superposition.
It's a millionth of a millimeter.
That's the way that you get to the point where electrons are touching each other.
Yes, thank you. Not sure is sure about the nano. Thank you.
Nano is 1 million.
It's a
I'm not
million.
sure.
If we
See,
put a millionth
because
of a
Austin,
second,
very
you couldn't
sure,
hear that.
right?
That's
Like,
too quick.
Mhm.
Unless
not
you
sure.
combine
Often comes up with the right answer for not being sure.
He did.
Technically,
Or
a
she,
nanosecond
sorry.
is 1 billionth of a
Whoever
second.
you are.
Yeah, 1
But
billion.
that'd be too short to try and like hear a nanosecond something over that time.
Oh yeah, no,
But, like
that's
maybe like
way...
a billion nanoseconds equals 1
But
second.
I was trying
maybe
to remember. I was like, I hate when I do that. Like, that's the problem. The parenthesis math.
Yeah, Brittany. Maybe you're right. I think it's close to that. So.
Isn't
probably can't hear
another
a
part
million
of
nanoseconds,
quantum, but isn't another part of quantum or quantum computing that it's like it's through time, or like is it can transcribe through time space essentially?
Yeah, well, that's like entanglement, but this is happening on nano micro scale. So you're
Okay, so then
when you're transmitting it, that's a whole nother story.
Okay, so
that's like what Raytheon's doing. Remember?
Yeah, I mean, so there's nano and then there's femto, and on the femto scale, then you're dealing with subatomic particles, and that arrangement might actually have something to do with what we understand to be time, for sure. And yeah, good shout out, by the way.
Oh, me or
yeah, Raytheon is definitely
Raytheon. They're next door neighbors.
Okay,
might I add? They're I see. Yeah,
damn,
I see them every day.
They're definitely on top. If anyone's on top of time travel, besides Lockheed, maybe.
Yep, for sure. There's jump rooms there, probably.
Yeah,
there were some people protesting outside this. They have like
saying
five facilities in that area, in the space and intelligence facility down the road a little bit. There's I think it was like the Palestine thing or Israel Iran war. They're protesting out front of that one, which doesn't produce the missiles. That's a different one up the street. They were at the wrong one.
You're like, it's 2 miles that way.
They were just
go to Vandenberg while you're at it.
I just heard about it, but yeah, they're standing out front with waving their flags.
Lots of things, lots of protests today. Allegedly.
Oh, today? No, this was earlier in the week.
Oh, gotcha.
I think like Monday.
Okay.
Whenever the Iran thing happened. Like,
that's scary though. We do not want that World War III. Yeah. Because then we're all drafted.
I don't agree with what they're doing either, but
Didn't you watch Terminator, bro? If you stop World War III in 1997, then World War III happens in 2001. If you stop World War III in 2001, it happens in 2007. If you stop in 2007, it happens in 2019. If you stop in 2019, it happens in 2023. Like, at what point are you going to just deal with it? It's the thing is, like, I think there might be some sort of a worldwide karma. It doesn't have to be through the war in the same way that we think of war, but like something has to give at a certain point. And right now, at least what we're looking at is like drones a lot of the time, and this is really different than, let's say, Iran in the 1930s or other conflicts. And I don't know, it's horrible, but it's like this is interesting how much more automated it is than it is like just blood loss, right? Compared to what it used to be.
Right. Yeah. No.
Lavender isn't like Lavender the program that's operating like all the AI, like the AI program with all the drones over there right now.
No, in
really?
Israel, though,
I'm not sure.
No, Blake would know what it's. Some sort of
Lavender.
Israelis lavender. Okay, so from the golem to
I love
the fact that they're taking the highest frequency, like color, one of the highest frequency colors, and labeling it that.
Wow.
Israel did have a weird purple gas that they used. They got in trouble for in the 90s. They used to like spray on Palestine. That was purple, like lavender color, and smelled sweet, but like killed you.
Made you crazy.
That's horrible.
Jeez.
Nice of them, right?
Well,
Good guys.
you can appreciate
Good guys,
technology. I get you.
Yeah, I guess we shouldn't go too far into that because then the stream will definitely get whacked.
Still, though, lavender, Captain Lavender.
Oh, okay. They actually named it Lavender. I thought it was a different name.
Yes,
nope.
So
Well,
you
there's
get
the
to-
gospel. There's the gospel, but no, this is lavender.
I
No.
do
So
too. I love lavender.
Lavender.
Cool.
So-
Is
they use
lavender
it-
the one that selects, like, goes through the pictures and selects the targeting, or did you say that was lavender is now the one that operates the drones?
you'll have to ask Blake. He'll know more. But it looks like, according to this, it's the AI targeting machine. So yeah,
Yeah.
it must be like a continuation and a second edition to gospel.
Right, gospel.
90%
Thank you.
accurate.
That's the original. Right?
90% accurate.
I remember Blake was saying gospel. There he is, the gospel.
Yeah,
right?
see, Blake knows. Did you throw him the link? You want to throw Blake in?
Yeah. Blake, I'll messenger you the link right now if you want to join.
Snap.
Here you go, dude. If you're around, if you want. It was the gospel, but they decided it was too on the nose. Skynet was turned on last week. Yeah, I mean, so that was the other thing. Like, what do you think about
Turned on last week.
Well, did it
yeah,
happen on the day of the eclipse or after or before?
Was it CERN? I am concerned about CERN. What happened with all of that?
Yeah, I don't know. Was there something that CERN on the eclipse day? Wasn't
Well,
the
the
guy
guy
who created
yeah,
it
Biggs,
died? Yeah,
he died that day,
right. That's right.
and they turned CERN back on that day.
Fair enough. Much stuff.
On
Like, we'll plan
the day
something
of the
soon.
eclipse, they
Sure,
did.
Blake. Well, we gotta do something soon. You can help explain.
Yeah. Right at the time that NASA apparently launched 3 rockets, they said, into the dark side of the moon, but we're facing the dark side of the moon, I believe, during the eclipse, because anyways, maybe not. That's
not
weird.
good.
Anyways, apparently they fired it out at the exact moment. They restarted it for the first time in 2 years at the exact moment that the eclipse was in full effect. So if you want evidence of why you should be concerned about CERN and that they are actually using the sun and different astrological things for their experiment, like, it's just weird.
Well, how crazy would it be not to, though? That's the thing. Like, you
Particle
gotta understand-
physics is
think of it-
weird.
I always try to remember, think of it from the perspective of an engineer or like an engineering student. Like, you're gonna go, you're in college, you like to party, and you're into science and stuff like that. And like, you're trying to be into, look at his background. You like Egyptian stuff, like, yeah, he's into science, but he's also into like magic. You probably like a little. I don't know how into magic you are. I'm not trying to judge, but he's probably a little bit more open-minded than people think about engineers, And so when people think of CERN, they're like, "Oh, weird. These engineers have like a Hindu statue. Like, do you understand how many engineers are from India? Like, of course. Or like, how many engineers are white kids who spent a year abroad when they left before they went to the University of Bristol in England? Like they lived in India, like, to do their moon gatherings and things like that. So I don't know. I think it's kind of unfair that people are like, oh, it's so weird that these engineers at CERN have like weird occult rituals and put on cloaks and run around the woods. Cause like, that seems fun. I don't know. Like, I don't, that's not, it's only if it's
nerdy,
like human sacrifices or something like
nerds
that.
are weird, who knows?
If Swiss kids
What do
are
you
playing
think about
soccer in hoods at
CERN?
night,
Hey, Spectre, what do you think about CERN? Have you done any research into that, or are you?
Yeah, the application of it, I don't understand. Is in terms of what they've produced. It's just like particle physics. Particle physics in general is questionable, and how much money is being put into it, and why. When there's nothing coming out of that we can utilize.
I mean,
we're told
I don't know. I don't agree necessarily. I think
nothing that we're told about.
Okay, exactly. Maybe there
they're
is.
not telling us. We're just assuming they're doing this.
But also, though, things
go.
do come out of it. They're like, okay, like, remember how we told you?
They changed the lines of that
One of the
movie.
things I like about the science community now is you don't even really need to do the declassification thing anymore, because you still need people to know that 2 and 2 isn't really 5. If like, you just don't want everyone to know that yet. So what you do is you say, hey, we kind of have this idea but it's not proven yet. And so then 90% of the science community betas out, and they're like, okay, well, we'll just wait until it's proven. So then, but like the 10% are these students who are like trying to get their PhDs, and they're like, oh, there's subatomic particles.
Okay.
Pentaquarks, and they
Yeah,
talk about
they just
Pentaquarks in
go
like
for it.
2007, and now
Mhm.
they're like, oh well, okay, we officiate Pentaquarks as of what 2019, 2021 or something like that. Which imagine the absurdity of waiting 15 years to accept like obvious science, but that science was required. The only way that they admitted it was through CERN, and CERN doing
I
tests
see.
to prove Nima Arkani Hamed's work, which, you know, if you've read his other work, is way weirder. Like he's talking about time and like the idea of breaking down what we think of as time into symmetry. And again, femtoscale reality, you know, getting beyond nanoscale to understand how things are arranged. Because if we're going to print a solar system in the arrangement that this day is like we could literally print, let's say it's like an asteroid's coming towards Earth in your whole NASA, you know, horror film like Netflix series. Well, what you do in that scenario is you use AI to copy this reality, and then you print out of stardust another reality somewhere else after the asteroid happened, because you could have the exact same causation continue on as long as you have the same femtoscale arrangement of everything. So you could duplicate it. You could duplicate the entire moment, right? These are things that we're looking at, of course, from I'm saying that from like a fake perspective. I don't really believe that that's the way you would do that. But you could also use that to simulate realities. And so that's what they're doing with nanotechnology, to say, hey, we could have billions and billions and billions of different possible days, and we could see them all play out in a system and figure out which one's likely to happen. Invest all your money into plastic.
All of them at the same time is like a meta. I don't know.
Invest all your money into plastic.
That's like Dark, though. That's that show I was talking about before he came on. They go over that.
Donnie Darko, eh? That's good.
That's
an interesting movie.
Well, yeah, I get though that CERN is kind of shady, but like at the same time, they don't want everyone to know, for the same reason that your company shouldn't want other people to know everything, because there's a race going on, and the race it's more like it's a war or something, because it's really dangerous if the wrong people with the wrong intentions were to win a race like that.
Yeah.
Is it 420
right now? Well, down under right now, apparently on the east coast of Australia, it is 420. So happy 420 on 420.
Oh yeah, it's happy.
Oh yeah, I guess it just is it's 1221 1221 in
It's a really weird day because it unites so many people. On the left you have the Hitler enthusiasts, and on the right wing you have the libertarian pot smokers.
Right? Isn't that weird?
Are you talking?
I don't know if it's really that way or not, but it feels like that sometimes.
Where?
Are you deviating from science here?
Wasn't it also Saddam Hussein's birthday and Mussolini's birthday as well?
Really?
Yeah, I remember always looking at it like it's within a couple days where I was like, "Oh my gosh, all of these people."
April 28th, and Mussolini's birthday,
Hitler's birthday,
is July 29th.
No, what's Saddam Hussein? He's like a day after.
April 28th. He's born 8 days from later.
Nelson Mandela is July 18th, I believe, just like Travis. No, yeah.
I have a question though. Can I ask a question about
it's Hitler, guys.
Yeah.
By the way,
yeah, look up
420 is definitely.
We know it's Hitler's birthday.
No, it's Hitler, but there's another one. There was another like ruler.
Napoleon III.
How many Napoleons were there? That weird.
How many Napoleons were there?
Good question.
Too many, I always say.
There's only one Bonaparte, of course.
All right.
Darn straight. Princess Beatrice of the Netherlands.
August 15th. So no, for Napoleon.
Did somebody
1769.
Can I ask a question about the news? Because right before we came on, I saw this, and it was something that I actually just saw on a TV show I watched. So I thought it was predictive programming, but I don't know if it was 6 days ago or 6 hours ago. Somebody set themselves on fire today. Was that
outside of the Trump trial?
All right. So anyway,
really? Wow.
So that happened on a show I just watched. Not to spoil it, I won't say what it was. That was the season finale. And I said, oh my gosh, that's going to happen in society, like in the next few weeks. And it literally happened. And that's really messed up. because it was
Someone
the most.
did that like a few weeks ago too.
That was the craziest show because it was like, oh, okay.
This
So
is
that
not
didn't
even the
happen
first one this year.
today, or maybe did or didn't happen. All right.
Part
I
of a
just-
startling trend,
Bertie said you want to do a
according to the
show, and
article,
I
because
saw
someone did it earlier this year.
That sounds fun. Yeah.
Okay,
The
that's all.
third,
I
at
just had
least
to
the
double
third
check.
public self-immolation in at least 5 months.
Self-immolation. That's what it's
It's
called.
the
Wow.
flip from what
I didn't
the
know that.
predictive programming
Okay.
was, though.
Well,
It
I
was
mean,
a
yeah,
li-
it's
it was
meaning
a-
hard. It's like the ice challenge, but opposite.
I can't believe it. When they
What
did this at the end of the season of the
opposite?
show, I literally was like,
Nice.
because they have this Andrew
Nice.
Tate character on the show. It's this figure that represents that is against this liberal person that's leading. And I won't say what show it is, but at the
Flat
end,
Earth.
it's freaking on fire. And I was like, I wasn't expecting that to happen. And now that I've seen it, it almost shocked me, and I bet it's going to happen in the mainstream media. And lo and behold, I was like 6 hours or 6 days ago. That's what I was asking. I did okay. I thought maybe
There's a lot of things I want to
I
try.
wonder
but
though if that maybe
Not
is
that.
like MK Ultra triggering these people. To
I
do
don't
it,
know.
actually.
I don't know. That's messed up. Anyway,
I mean, once
it's
you
not
see
the
one,
sounds of science. I'm sorry. I just had to ask.
Oh, that's exactly the science of sounds.
They're
According
definitely
to-
well,
it's like-
Bernie. They're definitely mentally challenged in some
Unstable.
way.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
well,
disturbed.
I mean,
In
you know,
some way.
I don't know. Like, to be fair, like
They're motivated.
self-immolation, I respect. In retrospect, I guess maybe I should think more carefully about it. But growing up, I always had, instant respect for the people I heard of who self-immolated. So the Buddhist monk in
Oh,
Vietnam.
that's different, I guess. I
No,
don't
he
know.
Well,
set
how
himself on fire
different?
with oil.
So
Yeah,
the
that's-
Buddhist monk
Yeah, it's different.
had 5 under him monks who were murdered that he'd spent his whole life training. So there was no point in living because he couldn't live long enough to train more monks to do this. So he figured, all right, if you're going to destroy my life, then I should do this. And in a lot of ways, it kind of showed. I mean, there's so many things that were happening. Like the Vietnamese were throwing, chucking spears at the helicopters, at the Apache helicopters, and the military were like, yeah, they're gonna keep doing that. And he's like, wow, how do they think they could win if we have these helicopters and they're chucking spears? Like, you don't understand it, Mr. President. Like, how do we think we can win? These people, like, we have helicopters and they're still chucking spear. Like, they don't care. They're gonna die. Like, how do you think you're gonna win against that kind of mentality? So this
Yeah,
kind of,
right.
I really believe in.
They're
You'd
willing.
rather kill
They're
your
so
Yeah.
desperate.
Power
They're
of it.
willing to put their
Control.
lives behind it, right? And it's
Also,
like
I mean, I'm not
that's the
endorsing or
extremist
advocating it, but
though.
then also the
But I-
Czechoslovakian self-immolation was really important because the amount of people that were like, hey, we have social agricultural degrees, we have worked to build this utopian socialist state that the Soviet Union is not interested in existing, and the CIA will work to destroy. Please let us exist. No, okay. So they would light themselves on fire in this, because Soviet Union was suppressing all this. And they're, I think also the way I look at it is also it's really similar to the way things are in Japan, the way things are becoming with American males, where they're isolated and afraid to go outside and do things. But the same thing was happening to the Soviets. So when people start to light themselves on fire, it's like they're showing that they deep down they do have this
Real
dedication,
concerns, legitimate
and they're being
concerns?
destroyed from all sides. So I mean, I don't know. It's like I don't think it's a sign of weakness, and I don't necessarily think it's a sign of just
But right now,
ideology.
because of
They're
President
willing to die
Trump,
for it.
because of the Trump court case, you think that that's comparable to the things you're talking about? Because I think they're way different things. I think
Probably.
they had a cause that they
I have
thought
no
was
idea
noble.
about this guy. I don't know if he if it was really the CIA just made him spontaneously combust with
That's what I'm
radiogun.
thinking. I'm just saying, are you trying to defend what this guy did? Because
No, it was that specific thought
He
just
didn't
about people
self-emulate.
getting crazy.
He didn't just erupt in fire like godlike. He lit himself on fire.
Not spontaneously.
Right? It
I
wasn't
mean, the
That's
soldier who lit
self-immolation.
himself on fire a few months ago. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was the second, right? What was that?
He got back
Hopefully
from
not.
Afghanistan or something like that, and I don't
That's
know.
different. We're talking about different things, though. Like if you
Yeah,
just
but yeah, there's
light
the
on
thing.
fire
There's a trend.
because of
There's
a
a trend
god
going on right
thing,
now of people that are lighting themselves on fire
yes,
instead of
that's
shooting at
different,
schools.
right? That's spontaneous. Like that's self.
Well, that's exactly it, though. Is that it's
Instead of-
the desperation, but the fundamental belief of something they're willing to die for, and that there's
And
the
what's more
extremists that do terrorist acts and will either shoot up a school or blow themselves up or do whatever and die for the cause, or they will do the protest, the peaceful protest, but put their life.
Well,
on
let's
it,
look at
trying to bring-
what this guy did, because it is kind of interesting. So the Eric Sean reports that the man who self-immolated outside the Trump courthouse walked over to pro-Trump protesters, began handing them colorful pieces of paper before shouting something, throwing pages on the ground, and then dousing himself with accelerant.
That's insane.
That's what happened on the show. Exactly.
I guess they're not even sure.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I guess I don't even really want to see it if they had video of it. But
So ridiculous.
25-year-old
You
active
guys,
duty
do
man
they have a
last
before
month.
and after picture? Not that I
Last
want.
month, my name is Aaron Bushnell. I'm an active duty member of the U.S. States Air Force. I'll no longer be complicit in genocide. Doused themselves on fire. Woman with Palestinian flag self-immolates near Israeli consulate area. December, unnamed woman set herself on fire outside the Israeli consulate in Atlanta.
All right.
Climate protester self-immolates outside Supreme Court. That's got to be bad for carbon emissions. I can't believe these people.
Oh my.
Yeah.
That's right. Just wow.
Yeah. Well,
Good
I don't
for
know.
him.
I mean, what is his deal? Is he real? So why is he setting himself on fire
It's a
outside
just cause, like you
Yeah,
were
but it
just
seems to be like there's like an
saying.
increase
Has a
in this
right to
type
do
of
that.
activity. Like
It
just
is.
like with
ended a
the
series, a really popular series with this happening, which is super interesting.
A conspiracy. Okay, here we go. A
Definitely
conspiracy
being-
theorist known as Max
What, Julia?
Twice.
Azarello set himself ablaze near the historic hush money trial on Friday afternoon. The man who doused himself with accelerant
He didn't
outside
die.
Donald Trump published a manifesto that he'd self-immolated to warn the world about the apocalyptic fascist world coup. Self-immolated conspiracy theorist was identified by cops as Max
No one-
Azarello, a 37-year-old man from St. Augustine, Florida, who was in critical condition on Friday afternoon. He declared online this act was an extreme act of protest to draw attention to the urgent and important discovery. His Substack manifesto is a dizzying document that rails against cryptocurrency, New York University, the Clintons, and the world's governments, warning readers that they are victims of a totalitarian con akin to a massive Ponzi scheme.
There you go.
Okay.
Yep.
The NYU is a mob front, another pamphlet he handed out claimed. The True History of the World Haunted Carnival Edition, one pamphlet read. Our only goal is to replace our criminal government and replace it with one that serves all. He's a very personable guy,
Did you
not
know
an
about the
idiot when you're
United
sitting around
Nations?
talking to him, his friend
You
said.
should just get involved with the United
His
Nations.
former landlord, Larry Altman, told
Already
him.
exists, you guys. That guy doesn't even know.
So
yeah,
he
that was
had
on-
too much conspiracy theory and it drove him nuts. Or
Literally,
Who
yeah.
knows?
It's like
I mean, yeah, so he went full Omega
or he
code
studied
programming.
history, maybe. And
What
the people Andreas is talking about.
Oh, Azarello worked as a campaign representative for Amy Barra, Democrat, California in 2014. Well, there you go. MK Ultra.
I would say his military experience is probably more like.
You want to see the picture?
Marine?
Hold on.
Is he a
What
Marine?
were you saying?
All
Julia?
right, I'm not going to tell you. It's
More
just,
of
you can
this
choose
happening
between.
lately?
Does this look to you like an Illuminati mind control victim, or I want to remove the tongue
I
and
don't
eye
want
from
to
the
see if
picture
he's
because
on
it's
fire. Oh
giving
my
it away.
God!
but-
In heaven, no way! Yikes!
that beautiful hair. Why would
See,
you do that?
It looks like my old.
Jeez.
He definitely did it for spiritual purposes.
Maybe it's
and
Maybelline. But
all
yeah,
the right
the tongue in
reasons.
the eye, dude. That's very the
There
Illuminati.
you go.
And
The Illuminati tongue and eye
yeah,
thing
I
just means
see a lot of
encrypted.
shapes. I
Thank
feel
you,
like
Jay.
Baphomet. Oh, not
No, Jay. Remember, we're not supposed to say that. Jay, no, this is clearly real. Everything you see is so real, Jay.
Yeah, and
Everything
he
you see
looks
is
really
real,
hurt
Jay.
as
You
well.
have to believe in it, or else we'll get in trouble, Jay.
When was he on
Believe.
fire? He has a full head of hair. What is happening?
That
Was that
doesn't
before
look
this?
very
That
happened?
was the mugshot from before, Brittany.
I was gonna say,
Oh.
Jesus.
Oh, so you had
Wow,
him in.
Brittany, really? Are you
Got
kidding
out,
me?
and he did that.
You thought that was the after shot? I
You
want
could've
you
had
to
a-
do I want you to do news just generally.
Fireproof.
I feel like that's the comment.
Uh,
Really? He looks pretty good for a guy who was just lit on fire. Right? You know?
I was like, don't think we're that dumb. Come on,
That's
guys.
so sweet. Really.
A little makeup, wig, bald wig. I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I mean I was
Shut
pointing out
up.
the tongue in the eye, but okay. I'm glad you guys liked his hair.
I hope that he recovers and goes to jail for or
Don't
treatment? What do you
no.
hope
I
for?
hope that guy gets mental
I
help
mean, this
and
is all
help.
real.
And
I hope he gets help.
you're in America. That poor guy. He's got like how much in medical bills now, or does Obamacare work? I don't even know. Let's get back to
Obamacare.
happier times.
That's gone.
What
It
yeah,
doesn't
I'm-
exist
I'm
anymore.
happy.
what
It's
y'all
okay.
got on the go?
I'm
What's
happy.
what's going in the future? What projects everyone working on?
Well, I ask everyone a question here, which we could get into later, but have anyone seen the debate?
What debate?
No.
Graham Hancock and Flint Dibble finally
Everybody's
debated.
No.
talking about it.
Rogan.
They were talking about it on your show, Andreas.
I have
I didn't see it.
This is a big deal.
I barely
It's
watched
a
10
big
minutes
deal.
of Tucker
Oh, that was-
Carlson with Rogan today.
No,
I've
they
been
weren't.
busy with game stuff, but I'll look at it. It was Graham
one
Hancock
before
Dibble
that.
on Joe Rogan.
Tell us about
Yes.
it. No.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't that show. It was a different show. It was.
Yeah, it was on the Joe
So what
Rogan.
happened? It was like forever. It was like a 4-hour long. on
Yeah,
on.
4.5 hours.
About the timeline,
I'd
right?
say it's just the start of it, but in a nutshell, Flint's an asshole, but
Clearly.
this is my opinion. If he's still sticking by his
He didn't
comments
he
on
didn't say
calling
no.
him a racist and stuff. He didn't back down from that, but
Really?
he's obvious, and he's also the whole 4 hours. There's no open-mindedness here with him. He will just present his data, but
Dude, these freaking people, like, there's a whole new
But did
propaganda
Graham
wing
Hancock go
that
deep
exists now
into-
of like reality
No.
people. They're all like pro-establishment. It's really freaking scary. And then, like,
But
look how many
Hancock
views you
didn't
get
tell
if
the
you're
truth either.
pro-establishment.
oh,
I
I
should
hate that guy. Don't give him any views.
Yes,
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
for the love of
Please.
God, this is like the most
Ban
obvious
that channel forever.
pro-establishment crap ever. All right, sorry,
Yeah,
I had
That's
to go on my.
terrible.
Okay,
That
so
one,
no.
you want to
that
trigger
particular
yourself.
one. Oh,
It just
that
when you talked about
Oh,
Flint,
is it this guy? Is this guy a good guy?
Flint
Or that's
Dibble
the guy
is
who's
the
debated?
Minuteman like clone.
this is the
They're
guy
same
who
evil.
Well, he I'll give it to him that he finally, a mainstream archaeologist, was actually willing to debate Graham in a public forum where it's fair on both sides. They both get time allotted to them to present their whatever they're doing, and then they talk about it. So it was good in that way, but Graham's getting old. He's definitely changed his focus over the years. I mean, this is in the other Discord channels. There's a lot of conversations happening about this, and there's so much data that Graham could have had that is being done by all these other guys in support of this, type of research. That it's almost painful to watch sometimes because he was struggling to find things at certain points,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh, I have those pictures for you. Here they are,
Special
like that.
stuff, but he
What
doesn't
about
have
this
the evidence
stuff?
ever, and it's annoying.
There's so
and
much.
Yeah. That's
Like
the
Al
same
Ben's work and Brian Forrester, and if he just incorporated Randall Carlson's work, and this is, you got to include the team because
Anything.
everyone
Yeah.
has a
It's all
purpose.
about the team, right? And that's what I find is when people screw big chances for getting information and like movements and communities and just go solo, and then it's like they burn alone.
Messes things up. Yeah.
There's a few points.
It was
that just bring-
unfortunate. It kind of, he definitely was nervous. Like, I've never seen
Did you
Graham
watch his
in that way.
Netflix series though?
Aw.
I mean,
Mhm.
he opened eyes, but he didn't really go into timeline, and he didn't really.
Yeah,
question
I didn't like
that
it
narrative. He
particularly.
questioned
It was,
locations and kind of dating, but not specifics of it. Like, why would this be here?
yeah, I didn't like it because of the way it was presented in TV
So
format.
incredibly racist. No, I was kidding.
Well,
that was I don't
Right?
I
The
like
one
more,
thing that
I like
wasn't.
more
what they were
detail
talking about.
personally.
Yeah, but it wasn't for us. See, that's the point.
Yeah, it wasn't for us.
It was for like
Exactly.
everyone around us who are
Yeah,
we're trying to talk to. It was
Yes.
like
For, it
and
was
if
for
you were ever
normies,
gonna tell
right?
this to
Yeah.
your family,
Yeah.
like they
Exactly.
don't. This is
Shock people that much.
I wish that
I
like
agree
we could
with
do
that.
like really what we need is like the Madden of Tartaria. You know what I mean? Like, he's going for a touchdown, and the mud flood happened about 6,000 years ago.
That's like my
Like,
dream. Set me up. Sorry, no, don't do that.
that's probably the way to do it.
222 watching right now.
It was just like when they're like, "Where's your evidence?" It's just like, what about all this stuff? Like, there is plenty of things that are not explained, and they can't.
So Graham just didn't have time. Like, why do you think he didn't have
on Rogan? Because like my sister watches Rogan, so they're not like normies watch it. It's not allowed.
He needed more time. Yeah.
I'll have to see it to understand, but like I think the other thing
will be another one.
No matter what you say, you're gonna have circumstantial evidence compared to, you know, what is accepted science, and accepted science is not necessarily more true, but every step of the way he's going to be fighting against someone saying, no, this is what we've said this before. Because there really is like a pretty good like cover story for everything.
Yeah. Like for carbon dating though, did he explain that? Because that's easy.
There are great cover stories for everything. Like we've gone through this before on the show where people are like, well, this kind of carbon dating, and then we'd have to use this other kind of thing. And at that point it would be ridiculous, because what you're really saying is that these people didn't do it, and that's racist. I mean, it's always back to this logic that science would disprove the ideological truth. And are you really willing to go through that? And if
you just quoted Clint Dibble right now, by the way, you quoted he used the words you just said. Which one? I'm telling you, those you know the narrative.
I was raised in California. I was born in the Berry Bush. I know.
Well, you just spoke the terminology used against it as you didn't, or you're discrediting the culture that, you know, and you're being racist because you're saying a white Atlantean culture built it, not the Egyptians.
Which is crazy, because the Atlanteans were white supremacists. I'm sure they were kind of more of an octamaroon tan color, like earth tone. So
they were blue.
Sure, they were fucking blue, right?
They were blue.
Exactly. I thought, Atlanteans are blue, Lemurians are ant people. I'm sorry. See, you're right.
Demigods are blue. Giants, maybe? I don't know.
It doesn't make sense to me why they put effort to read that again, to debunk Graham. Where was that comment? I was trying to read that. It doesn't make sense to me why they would work to debunk. It doesn't make sense to me why they put an effort to debunk Graham if he's so incorrect. Well, that's I mean. So that's the thing, Red Dad. Like 99% of the people
laughable.
99% of the people
don't
even care to look into what he has to say, and so you're not even going to get a proper debate. The few people that they can get to do a proper debate are imbeciles, clearly, which is the other thing. Because like these people that think they know what they're talking about don't take Graham Hancock seriously enough at all to even have the conversation. So he's stuck dealing with their absolute lowest of the low. Which, you know, and even then they're like, oh man, I don't want to screw this up. So they're going to go around and they're going to ask their friends, and they're going to have the best that they can have.
Yeah, he used slides from all his colleagues for his presentation. Flint, exactly.
But yeah, the idea of also being incorrect doesn't matter in a post-truth society, because really, if enough people feel something's true, that is, you know, this is what this is all about. Like, so if the idea that Egypt is the only place that has pyramids, like we know that's not true. On a daily basis, we interact with the idea of the Mayan pyramids. Gosh, Brittany. Well, Bernie, you can play it. You got the files. I sent you the proper saga.
There we go.
Also, the first one is
no, this one. As I think it this.
Try that. No, try that. Try that first.
Someone bought it.
Did it work?
Yeah, but it doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound good.
So was that? Can you hear it? Was that sounding?
It sounds low and weird, but keep trying.
Low and weird.
Well, how is Jeffrey Bale? Stop spam. Don't do that, please.
What? No,
I can read your.
Nobody likes the spam. No spam.
Graham discovered the underwater megaliths. Did he discover it? Would say he discovered it.
Light to it.
But he did popularize it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Exactly.
Right?
He documented it the best of anyone else. He has the most pictures of it and did the most dives there of anyone else.
Talking
Last
about
time I saw you, Dub Selector, we were with Graham Hancock.
That's right.
Wait, play the first box saga one I sent you.
And I missed
Someone
that.
play Box Saga.
No,
No,
not that
I
one.
want it. I
Not
paid.
that
I
one.
can hear it. I'm stressed. You're stressing me out about Graham Hancock. I can't take it.
This one. Play this one.
Jeffrey, that's right.
Okay.
All right, all you wildcats out there. Here's a new box saga for all you
New
new
box saga.
box fans.
Oops, hold on. What am I doing?
Way to ruin my cool DJ moment. I felt like a radio DJ. I was like,
Is it
wow,
not,
to
it's
play
not
the
the
record.
heavy box saga?
That's
didn't
why
pay for this.
DJ Bernie Slanders fails, and I got work to do.
Bernie Slanders. He does.
DJ Bernie Slanders has
Taking the
work to
lake house back.
do. Oh God. You hear it?
It's not that one though, is it?
Can you hear it?
No, I can't. I keep hearing the metal one.
No.
Yeah, Jeffrey, I agree with you.
My apologies. That was not working.
And that brought me to Uncharted X and all these other guys. Here's a hat for you.
Here, I'll
You
try
do,
my screening. Let me see if this works. Let me play it through mine.
Oh, hold on. First, Travis is showing his hat.
Oh, sweet.
You can't buy these. You can't buy these yet, but you can
I
soon.
want one. That's cool.
This is a
Love it.
maybe they'll be online soon.
I love that game.
I think you could get a beanie. Those are cool
Nice.
too. The shirts.
They're toques in Canada. I need more toques because it's still
I want a
freaking winter
shirt-
here.
I want a shirt with the meme Julia posted earlier today with Jesus.
Julia's-
CERN. I love
Julia's
that. That's lit.
sign,
I want
the
that on the
poster
back of
behind
my-
her, on a shirt, just like a big ass face
Yeah.
right here.
She had a crazy.
Sorry. We have to play it because Brittany paid.
All right.
Play.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
is this the finished
It's a
version or
super
what
chat.
is this? Hold on.
This is a new different version.
So this is what AI made.
This is not the OG.
I find it too screamy.
What?
I'm sorry.
Did we get
I
it?
like Pop Saga.
I can't hear it all. I don't know this version. I'm scared of it.
I like this riff.
This is
I'm
crazy.
scared of you.
I can't know if there's bass. Hold on. Where's the bass? Sometimes I can't hear it.
People in my chat thinks I have satanic music
That's
Yeah.
not
on my
it.
channel.
This is
I'm
not
like,
Julia's
Sounds-
music.
That's
so-
not-
It sounds satanic, right?
Box Saga that I know. Do you want me to show you? It goes like this. This is not
It's
Box
not
Saga.
Sonic. Box
This is
Saga.
not Box Saga.
I don't
Box Saga
understand
goes-
Jeff, I
I
think
don't
you're.
know. I'm more confused to what Box Saga is now than ever.
Box Saga is a song goes. Box
Now we need
Saga.
we need the serial
Your
pop
parents
version
are telling you to
after that.
Box Saga.
And it, Jeffrey, Ben
said it like
leaves
12
it
times.
to you. I'm sorry. He's not going to tell you how to think.
But it's not satanic. Box Saga's a holy song.
It's weird, but it's not satanic.
It could be AI Demon.
That
'cause
was
it
not Box.
AI
That was not the OG Box Saga. I feel like something just happened there. I don't know what came through.
Right, but like
But I
AI
blocked it.
made that, so if AI is
It's
connected,
scary.
to
That was
AI,
written by a Lovecraftian
That
right
was
there.
finishing the Box Saga, but all right. After
Well,
class,
I'll
it's
save
that
Brittany's
one.
version for later. Next time someone
Yes.
asks us, we've got the
Yeah,
original.
next
Box
time.
Saga.
Next time we'll have the. It wasn't me. I was trying to help out.
I like that version. I like new things.
I can't hear the bass. All I hear is acoustic, like every other word. I didn't. I couldn't hear it. I'll listen to it later.
Well, we're coming up on 2 hours. You guys want to like anything else you want to do the last 15 minutes we can talk about? Do you want to make sure we cover?
because we have to end it before 2 hours, so the new AI feature will make 5 new cool AI clips out of it. But if you go
Oh,
over 2
whoa.
hours, it doesn't
really?
happen.
Really?
Yeah.
See, Bernie knows
Oh,
things.
Okay.
He does. All right, I'm gonna start trying
Julia,
to.
I
keep
want to
my
ask Julia for some
shorter.
astrological
gonna-
advice.
I'll
before
think
I
of
go.
some other stuff to present for
Going next week. What
another
should we
show.
do? What should I do?
Cool.
Exactly. Let's do this again very soon.
Oh, we have to
maybe
leave right
Wednesday.
now?
Go
Well,
away,
we have
Brittany.
10 minutes.
Get out. No,
I wanted to ask
15
Julia for
have,
some guidance.
yeah, you can ask for some guidance.
Just like in generally speaking, like how to get centered. She's like,
Can you
Astro.
play you want to play this for the remainder, because it goes along with what you're talking about at the beginning with sound. It's in the chat.
I just realized who
Let's
Brittany
do it.
reminds me of, and it's like the original Amanda Bynes show, like when she was cool still, you know? It's like, it's me, Amanda.
Yeah, I remember that.
Amanda Bynes was great.
She went through some stuff.
Oh, you know what?
I've
Sure
never
did.
seen that. All I know of Amanda Bynes is that like she shaved her head and was MK Ultra. So I'll try
she
to
shave
take
her
it
head?
as not
She was one of
offensive.
those. Oh.
But I liked her and She's the Man. Channing Tatum. I thought that was kind of funny when I watched
Nick.
Oh wow, that's old.
Is that a
Right there.
radio?
That's from the
Yes.
90s right
Do
there.
y'all remember like the OG?
Yeah,
I even
definitely.
got this is so OG. I've got an
I
Apple
was the
sticker.
OG. I watched Hey Dude.
An Apple
and,
sticker on the turn off the radio dial, but the classic
That is a Mac
radio.
Yeah, a
And you got
Macintosh.
speaker. You can change the
Sticker.
AM and the FM. You've got
Did you have
the
Nickelodeon,
morning-
Bernie?
The Nickelodeon one, man.
the
That
alarm
Did you
and
have
the alarm could either
Nickelodeon
sound
in Canada?
like cuckoo clocks or like Nickelodeon or like GAC noises or
Yeah.
all of them or the radio. It's freaking
'Cause
great.
Did you watch You Can't Do That on
Too bad the
television?
Nickelodeon's like haunted and evil now.
Anybody?
But I guess I always want.
I remember those, man. I got the cheaper knockoff version called like
No.
the Yak Back or something.
That's pretty sweet. I didn't have this as a kid. I got it later. I was like, oh, I always wanted one of those. I
Oh,
can get
heck
one now.
Yeah. I like that. I have an extremely large SNES collection due to that.
Very good. Very good.
Was that mid 90s, Nick? Not the OG early or what? I'm wondering. That's
1990.
Can't Do That on
What?
television, where they had like the firing squad.
1995.
Anyone see that? That show was nuts. Yeah, everybody watch You Can't Do That on television because I really can't believe they did some of that on television. That was our programming.
There we go.
It's crazy. On that note, I don't know.
Do you guys want to see this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Play
pyramid.
it. Play it.
Okay, here we go.
Whoops! Oh! Sorry, my
What just happened?
no, my bad. I'm trying. That was there. There we go. My apologies. My water bottle fell over.
I
Oh,
liked it.
Experiment.
the
thank
water
God it's
bottle.
Not like some
yeah. Then I panicked. Right? Like, oh
I
God,
thought
what
it
do I
was
do?
like-
What do I do?
radium crystals. I can't hear.
So this is where are they? They were in.
I got
Let
no
me
volume.
just play the audio.
Whoa. Whoa.
We're talking about sound resonance earlier and healing potentially.
This is crazy.
This is going to get into that right here.
It's huge.
Is this video out yet, or?
This is old, yeah. This is from.
Oh.
Sorry.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Whoops. This is from 4 years ago.
Wow.
So definitely available for anyone to watch.
Cool.
Let's see. It's coming up right here. Yeah. If anyone can. So it's serious. I did play this in my car, and wow, like it's the whole. I had to turn it down almost all the way because it was shaking everything. But and I don't have subwoofers in there. It was just with the normal speakers.
Huh.
They were gonna blow up literally. Like, so if you have speakers or headphones or something like
You think that could help?
We can't
or
hear the
affect
video
longevity?
right now.
Yeah, we
Oh, you
can't
can't hear
hear
it?
But no, that's all right.
No.
We're gonna listen later.
Oh, then
Right
you gotta
after
play
this.
it. Whoever the host is, yeah.
It wasn't. No, see, I was having issue with the sound
Well-
too for some reason. I'm gonna have to go.
Let's just drop it in the chat, and then
It's weird.
But yeah, that
everyone could watch it after.
we'll all live longer if we listen to that in our cars. Well, maybe. I'm just
Yeah.
giving not medical advice. Sorry. We won't live longer.
Put it in. So it's in Julia's chat. I don't know if You want to
We'll put it in the
yours,
Discord.
Bernie?
I
You
just
find it there,
pasted
too?
it in the live chat right now here.
There you go.
Oh, wait a second.
So yeah, check that video out for. He goes into specific. I forgot which pyramid, but there's chambers in there that you just hum in the corner, and they were able to pick up the sound it produced pretty well with the microphones. So you'll hear.
And a bunch of bananas is anything from 12 to like 500.
Yeah. See?
Nice.
I wasn't wrong. Was
A bunch is it could be
5
Yeah.
within that range.
It's like
No, it's
300
quite a
bananas
range.
is a bunch of bananas, but theoretically, a bunch could be like as low as
Yeah.
12.
It's kind of like how they describe volcanoes. Similarly.
Gotcha.
All right. The more you know. Love you all.
All right. Love,
Thing.
much love.
Or yeah,
Thank you,
sorry
Will.
about that.
Let's
Nice
do
to
this
meet
again.
you. Thanks for having me.
See you next
We
time.
will do this again very soon. And
Question, sorry.
ta-ta
You be
now.
my neighbor.
Thanks for
Bye-bye.
having me.